You are listening to Amazing Grace, as played during Mass here at the beautiful St. Joseph's Co-Cathedral in the heart of Thibodaux, Louisiana. The church's history began almost 200 years ago when it was founded by Father Charles Menard as a small local parish.
Father Menard was the pastor here for 50 years, and he's the one that built the old church by the cemetery, which is south of Thibodaux. In 1918, the church caught on fire in the middle of the night.
The old church was completely destroyed. The new pastor, Father Alexander Barrilleaux, chose an entirely new location to rebuild on.
Father Barrilleaux was able to find a person that had a lot downtown. He thought the church should be downtown. So where we're standing now is that this whole block he bought for $30,000.
Father Barrilleaux is immortalized in a stained glass window near the front of the church. The man responsible for building the church was a local carpenter named Joe Robichaud.
He hired 40 bricklayers and ordered 400,000 bricks to start this church out. It took him 3 years to build it, and it cost $300,000 to build it, and he got 10%. And it would cost $17 million to build it now.
Not only was the church itself expensive, but many of the things inside carry a hefty price tag.
There was a couple in Thibodaux that was able to locate a theater organ in St. Louis for $2,000 because the silent movies had stopped. But that organ up there cost $160,000.
Even the ceiling is gold-leafed. Although the church is certainly the most expensive structure in the city of Thibodaux, it is the priceless possessions, not the wealth, that make it truly memorable. St. Joseph's Co-Cathedral is the only Catholic church in Louisiana that possesses a saintly relic.
When Father Menard was there in Europe in 1860, he wanted to bring home something for the people of this parish, patron saint. And he went to a cardinal over there, and the cardinal was able to give him a bone from St. Valerie's right arm.
St. Valerie was a 2nd century martyr executed by the Romans for her beliefs. Today, she serves as the patron saint to prevent bad weather for the city of Thibodaux. The relic of St. Valerie was nearly lost in the fire that consumed the original church, but she was saved by a group of volunteer firefighters.
Once a year, on April the 28th, they have a special mass for her, and they move that catafalque to the center aisle like a funeral, and they have a special mass for her, and the firemen come in because the firemen's the one that saved them. They roll her out and they carry her around the block, people following saying the rosary, and they've been doing that for years and years.
St. Valerie and the church survived Hurricane Betsy nearly unscathed.
The window on the north side, where the risen Christ is, was blown out, and the church had 3 inches of water in it.
The church also fared well in Hurricane Katrina. Either by luck or the divine intervention of St. Valerie, the church was shut down for refurbishment just weeks before the storm. The resulting damage was minimal. The other thing that makes St. Joseph's Co-Cathedral special are the parishioners themselves, like retired organist Gibbons Robichaud.
I was born here in Thibodaux, Louisiana in 1930. I served my first Mass here when I was 7 years old. I was hired as an organist in 1964. I played for 1,500 funerals and 500 weddings.
With so much time spent in the church, Mr. Gibbons is full of interesting stories.
As I was getting ready to pay for a funeral one time, the sexton came up, hold everything, the bottom of the coffin fell out. Coming up the front steps of the cathedral, the bottom of the coffin fell out. And of course, I think the widow passed out. But there was a week of bad coffin spells. Up at St. John's, they were carrying a man, same week, carrying a man and it dropped out, and they kept walking, and he was back there.
Mr. Gibbons still serves as a tour guide for the church, and occasionally still plays weddings. With all of its priceless possessions and helpful parishioners, the cathedral is truly a treasure for the city of Thibodaux. It remains a source of immense pride for such a small community. At St. Joseph's Co-Cathedral, I'm A.J. Barrilleaux.